everybody. Steve Harville with Creative Ventures. Did you know that the oldest continuous military award is the Medal of Honor? It's awarded for valor in extreme combat situations. It was first awarded in 1863 to Private Jacob Barrett from the Civil Wars. In fact, half of all the Medal of Honor recipients fought during the Civil War. In 157 years, 3,500 people have won the medal. 13-year-old drummer Willie Johnson won it for continuing the cadence during a retreat in one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. There have been 19, excuse my language, total badasses that have won it twice. One president has won one. Teddy Roosevelt won it after he died for leading the volunteer Rough Riders in the Spanish-American War. But in all that time, in 157 years and 3,500 plus recipients, only one woman has ever won it. Mary Edward Walker. Now that may seem a little unfair out of that scope and scale, but keep in mind that to win the Medal of Honor, it's extreme valor in a combat situation. And for the vast majority of the military history of the United States, women have been prohibited from fighting in extreme combat situations. Heck, it wasn't until 1979 in which the enlistment requirements became the same for men and women. In 1994, Congress banned women from combat situations. They later rescinded it in 2013, but it's still very difficult for a woman to get in frontline combat situations. Now, Mary was extraordinary. In a time where women had trouble getting into medical school, she not only got into medical school and graduated, she graduated as a surgeon in 1855. Her skills were honed during the Civil War. She was the first Army surgeon, not female Army surgeon, just the first Army surgeon in general. Her skills and bravery are legendary. She crossed enemy lines many times to treat wounded Union and wounded Confederate soldiers. She even snuck past those lines to treat civilians that had been wounded during the war. She was captured by the Confederacy, and during her time as a prisoner of war, she continued to practice medicine. She continued to perform surgery not only on captured soldiers, but on wounded Confederate soldiers again. She was a revolutionary thinker. You see, and she had to be, because the weapons of the Civil War far exceeded the medical knowledge that existed at the time. She had a combination of creativity and courage and measured risk. And she had to because she was creating surgical procedures on the fly and teaching them to other doctors and surgeons as she went along. She understood what measured risk was. Dr. Walker's formula for increasing her skill sets is as valid then as it is today. Think about this. Know what your risk is. Look to constantly experiment and be creative within the context of that risk. Build new skill sets because it's in new skill sets that your career will advance. Aren't many people like Dr. Walker around. She did a spectacular service not only for the medical industry, she was a feminist ahead of her time and an abolitionist ahead of her time. She was an unbelievable example of what you can do with courage and creativity. I hope you enjoyed the story. I look forward to seeing you next time on Did You Know?